Types of gratitude. So gratitude is a multifaceted experience, and this module is about getting a chance to explore it a little bit more in depth so that, again, you can experience gratitude more deeply. And it gives you more options for ways to experience it. Now, gratitude is very much similar to daily wins in the way that it is about creating a confirmation bias on purpose. Now, in daily wins, you may have remembered that we were claiming our blank slate, and then we were priming our mind with the first thoughts of the day with whatever we actually wanted to see more of so that we would be sensitive to it. Now, we're doing the exact same thing with gratitude. We are creating a confirmation bias for, look at all these gifts that are coming my way that I had absolutely nothing to do with, that are making my life easier. Isn't this wonderful? And this is incredibly important for athletes. And this is incredibly important for training and doing really audacious things, because we do have to work hard to move the needle forward. We have to actively make choices. And every time we notice that something is going in our favor, that gifts are appearing before us, that opportunities are simply happening, that we had nothing to do with it, it relieves some of the cognitive burden. And it helps us see that we are supported by our environment, by the universe, by other people. And it makes it easier for us to work hard because we don't feel like we have to work as hard. So we're going to go through a couple different types of gratitude, different ways to notice the ways that we are being supported. And it's going to help you wire in all of these opportunities. Gratitude of abundance is about recognizing the resources, the opportunities, the things that are simply in your presence that help you. And what this does is it allows you to focus on thriving, not just surviving, which can be a mentality for athletes that we're just getting by. And we're trying to focus on what are the things that are in our life that are beyond getting by, that really are enhancing our quality of life. And what are the things in our environment, in our life, that are supporting and nourishing our growth and well-being? So one of the prompts is to take a moment to appreciate the things that make your life easier, more enjoyable, and more fulfilling, or even your training sessions. What are you grateful for that allows you to live a life beyond simply getting by? And this is really important in training sessions that are exceptionally hard. So what made this training session easier? What made it more enjoyable? What made it more fulfilling? And what made this practice more than me just surviving another hard workout? Gratitude of simple pleasures is probably one of my favorite. And for athletes, I think one of the easiest because it can be so embodied. So sensory immersion could be enjoying a cup of coffee, or it could be enjoying your massage, even though the physio is elbow deep into your hamstring. But you will never have as tight muscles or as taut muscles as you have right now, probably as an athlete. And so that alone is a unique experience that is fleeting. And we can take pleasure in the feeling of our body, or the feeling of our power, or our control, or our healthiness, or our capacity to jump high, or anything. And actually taking a moment to really savor those feelings, which you will not have forever, because as we get older, we lose elasticity in our body, and things happen, lives change. But feeling gratitude as an athlete for those things really actually helps you tap into experiencing more of them, experiencing more control, more power, more health, because you become finely tuned in to what those sensations feel like. Savoring beauty is the second one. And you can look at a sunset and savor that beauty, or you can appreciate anything that looks beautiful, but you can also appreciate how you look in the mirror. A little bit of vanity is good for you because beauty often indicates an aesthetic, and aesthetic often indicates function. And it's good to appreciate those things and to take all of it in. It is part of the holistic experience. You can appreciate how your technique looks in a video. You can appreciate how organized your training bag is. I took a lot of appreciation in savoring the beauty of my training journal and having it organized just so. And a lot of simple pleasures are really about enjoying the moment and organizing your life so that there is more beauty in it. Connect to the present. Connecting to the richness of now, as maybe Eckhart Tolle would say. But really, one day you won't be an athlete. and you won't be in this environment, and you won't be with this people. And this is a unique and fleeting experience, just like all experiences in life. And we can experience gratitude in so many ways, but I love zooming in on these ways that we get to specifically experience them relative to sport, relative to athletics, and relative to the joy of getting to experience our bodies and being athletic. A prompt for this could be, what is a simple pleasure that you often overlook or potentially take for granted out of all of these options? And then take a moment, close your eyes, choose one, and fully appreciate it with all your senses. Think about, how does it make you feel? What do you appreciate about it? What does it feel? What does it smell like? What does it look like? What does it sound like? And actually bask in that feeling of a simple sensory pleasure. Incredibly important concept, and it's a big part of the fourth pillar and the social class in the Peak Performance Accelerator, but we're just going to touch on it quickly now. And it has huge social ramifications and huge physiological ramifications due to what being close to other people does to our health, does to our cortisol levels, does to our psychological levels of well-being. So there's a lot of ways that we fail sometimes to create gratitude. And often it can be, for example, with our teammates. And if we tell people that we value them, and we very specifically notice the gifts that they are bringing, whether it's their energy or it's their attention or it's their skill or it's their kindness. These are all things that when we show people that we value them, we appreciate them more, they feel more valued. And then it creates this nice positive feedback loop where it allows us to show up and have more energy altogether, enhancing our performance. So when we can recognize people's other contributions, we acknowledge their contributions, we acknowledge our own, we feel like we are a part of something, and it creates this positive feedback, and we get more and more kindness. So some questions to ask, some ways to experience gratitude when you're trying to prompt yourself in the morning, when you're trying to create this positive confirmation bias that the world is full of wonderful people who are helping me, is to think about who in your life makes you feel valued and why. What gifts of yours are they acknowledging? And then what do you appreciate about them? How do they contribute to your well-being? And the more you do this, the more you'll notice how positively connected you are, and the more you'll notice opportunities through others, because you will understand how all their gifts are connected, and you'll become a part of something larger. Gratitude of spiritual appreciation is a really interesting one. And it's one that I didn't tap into for a long time because I wasn't in nature very often. But I remember again when I was looking into words and I looked up awe and wonder. Awe was about noticing this feeling of being amazed, but also humbled by something so vast and grand that it makes you feel a little bit scared and almost small and insignificant, but in this wonderful way. And it reminded me of looking up at the night sky when I went camping a long time ago for the first time, and remembering that I had a place in the vastness of the universe, but had this deeper understanding of just how small I was. And I have this opinion or theory that we would all have way better mental health if there was no light pollution and we could see the stars every single night, because it would reset us. It would help us understand right before we went to sleep that in the grand scheme of things, our problems are small and that we are just here for a short time and we might as well enjoy life. So anytime we do this, we connect, we feel the interconnectedness of all things of life. And I love that about spiritual appreciation. But in track and field, there's also a way that we can do this, or in any sport. Anytime we figure out any way that we are more connected, when we realize that, for me, I'm at a track meet, there's thousands of people there, there's tons of other athletes, we're all trying to do this thing together, everybody's trying to perform. That's a form of spiritual appreciation. And anytime you can see the connections between things, that's when you're actually tapping into the very grand concept of spiritual appreciation. So the prompt for this is, what do you feel grateful for when you connect to a sense of awe and wonder? What makes you feel small but humbled? and connected to everything. This rolls us right into the interconnectedness of gratitude, these different areas of abundance, of simple pleasures, of social appreciation and social gratitude, and spiritual gratitude of awe and wonder. And the spiritual one really brings it all together in this interesting way where the more you notice the details of how there's all these different aspects to gifts, it also allows us to notice how they are connected. And connection is the root of creativity and problem solving. It's seeing how different types of things are actually related. So this is going to bring us to the next section, the next module, where we're going to talk about broaden and build theory, where it's this concept that explains how positive emotions, like gratitude, can expand our thinking, enhance our creativity, and build up a valuable resource for navigating life's challenges.